Hello everybody, my name's Katie Bloom. I'm looking forward to seeing your faces in your videos for the first time today. This is kind of a fun assignment. I saw the national tour of Mean Girls at the Shubert Theater in New Haven, Connecticut, which is close to my house. I saw it on May 10th, so it was just a little while ago. Luckily, I still have the playbill, so I could reference everybody's names. I had previously seen the original movie, which is an old favorite of mine. I had also seen the musical version of the movie, and then a couple years ago, I saw the high school version live, which I really enjoyed, and I'm actually directing it this summer at my own theater company, which is why I went to see the national tour, just, sort of for research purposes, so I could get some ideas for the show. So I found the show. This was actually my first time seeing the full professional version rather than the high school version, and I found it to be a really faithful adaptation to the original movie. I find in general that the music stays true to the original film, which is an old favorite of mine, as I said. It uses all of the iconic language and catchphrases that we're used to, also introduces some new elements, and it modernizes some pieces, like, for example, the integration of social media, which I think is a great add. There's a really funny scene between Karen and Katie where they're texting back and forth with emojis. So the use of smartphones, in the scenes and also in some of the projections was great. And I think it just really reflects today's high school environment. So I think a lot of these stories ring true, but I think that the technological updates were really helpful, pushing it 20 years in the future, from the original 2004 version. I found funny, my name is Katie, and Katie Heron was also played by Katie Yemens. I thought she did a really great job showing Katie's journey and her arc. She really brings her from that naive character to this, self-aware, self-confident teenager, to this strong, leader in the social circle, and really just has a beautiful arc throughout the story where she, really transforms and learns a lot. So I really enjoyed that character, but I thought she really did a great job portraying it. I especially loved her performance of Stupid with Love, but the contrast between that and some of the stronger pieces like It Roars or, I thought was really fun. So Janice was played by Alexis Moira, and I thought she did a really great job. She was definitely very edgy. She had some really strong numbers. I absolutely loved Apex Predator. I'd Rather Be Me, Revenge Party. She was really fun to watch, and I enjoyed her. Joshua Morrissey as Damien. He was really fun to watch. He was very genuine and funny. I loved his tap dancing. I wasn't expecting that from him. Usually Damien is a tapper, but he had sort of a body type that I wasn't expecting to be such a great dancer, but I was so impressed with the way that he moved. His comedic timing was awesome. I did think the costuming for him could have been better. I just felt for his body type, some of the costume choices maybe weren't what I would have done, but I'm a former costumer, so I'm very critical of that. Gretchen Wieners, Christina Amanda Smith, was awesome. Her vocals were insane, especially in What's Wrong with Me. Her rapid delivery of lines, I thought, she could have used a little pacing. I know the show really well, so I followed it, but my son could not. So that was just something that I noted. But I thought she did a really good job playing this neurotic, conflicted character and Regina's right-hand woman, and most devoted friend. And I enjoyed watching her transformation throughout the story as well. Karen Smith was played by Mary Rose Brendel. She was fantastic, just so funny to watch, especially in the number Sexy, where she sings about Halloween and world peace. That was awesome. She was super funny. She was like a Barbie doll. She was absolutely gorgeous, super tall, just perfect casting, and just so funny. When she walked, she didn't even bend her knees. It was just perfect. We actually got to meet her after the show along with some of the others, and she was just so sweet. My kids got to interact with her, and that was really cool. Regina George was played by Maya Petropoulos. She just did a great job exuding confidence and being dominant. From the moment she sang My Name is Regina George, she was just intimidating and sexy. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of an arc from her. I actually think in general the character just makes this fast transition. She's hit by a bus and she's totally changed. I always wish there was a little bit more for Regina to do. But I think, she did a good job with what she had, but I just didn't feel much softness from her at the end. She was a little harder than what I'm used to. But I thought that she was just great for the character otherwise. One thing I didn't really saw after the show was that one person, Kristen Seggio, I'm not sure if I said that right. She actually played 3 roles, which I did not notice, because of her costuming and wigs. But she played Miss Norbury, Miss Heron, and Mrs. George. Miss Heron's a pretty minor character, but Miss George and Norbury are really big, dominant characters, and she did an awesome job with those. And I wouldn't have known she was the same person if not for, looking at the playbill afterwards. I'm sorry, my dog is all over the place. That's Sadie Mae. She wants attention. The choreography and the design I thought were great. It was just a really fast-paced show. The scenes kept moving. They kept changing. There's really no definition between the scenes because one just runs right into the other, which is one of my favorite things about the show. It's just so engaging and fun. I thought the costumes were great. I mean, costumes for Mean Girls are pretty basic because they're just wearing street clothes. I always feel like, I don't really know, I always feel like they kind of dress them like it's 2004 still. I don't quite get that. Like, it's such a normal, like, universal story. If I was costuming it, I think this summer, hey, I'm doing it. I think we're just going to wear clothes that kids would wear today. Obviously they're going to be dressed in character, but I don't feel the need to like reach back into, fashion from 10 years ago. It just seems a little silly to me to do that. I don't know that they go all the way back to 2004, but I feel like they're dressed more like they were when the original version was done. But overall, I thought it was a great show, super fun. I got tons of ideas from it. I was super impressed by, all of the leads, but in particular the ensemble. Like, they are nonstop, like super talented. The dancing and the singing and everything, they just bring a lot to the table as well. So I highly recommend that you go see Mean Girls, whether it's on Broadway or the national tour. It's a great show. Enjoy and have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye.